It is 2:06, Leland Live, Talk 99.5, and we got a lot to do this afternoon. Suddenly there are things all in the news. And as we are wont to do when the weather starts approaching and it looks like it's going to be inclement, we will start with that at the top of the show. And I was just looking at a forecast for Saturday where they've now sort of upped the chances for severe weather on Saturday, and there's the flooding potential for Saturday. We've still got a some odd chance of rain coming up on Saturday, too. So just know that as the forecast gets a little more precise, we'll let you know that. I hate that because I'm finally making some progress on some things I needed to do outdoors. And, of course, we've got construction going on. You always want good weather for that. But I guess we do need the rain. Are we ever going to dry out? AJ, I got a pile of brush that I started piling up in May, and it's about 8 feet tall. It's a pretty big pile. I was doing it with the tractor.
Yeah, and I got to cut my grass.
And, dude, it was too wet it wouldn't burn. It's just too wet. I get home, and it's just saturated. It'll be November before all that stuff dries out enough for it to even catch fire. I would dare somebody to come set it on fire. It won't catch fire. So it's just that way, and that's better than a drought, which is what some of our neighbors here in the country have dealt with this year too. Let me start local since we're on weather already. Two local stories that are still fascinating. One is our bear friend. Let's start with him, who AJ and I have taken to calling Hank Shelby. We just made that up. He was spotted again last night. Did you see the video of him running through Lee Branch, through those shops over in the Lee Branch Shopping Center? I mean, he was full trot, and it seemed like whoever shot this video was kind of chasing him a little bit, like they were in the car, riding along beside him, trying to get a rolling video, while he was literally running down the sidewalk in front of some closed stores at night. I feel sorry for the bear now. I don't know. I haven't seen any reports of Alabama wildlife officials out trying to corner him because he stayed in that same area of 280, right around 119 and 280. I think he was seen just over the mountain, which would be, I guess, progress for him to get back into more of a wooded area and find his way back to a more natural environment if he keep heading east or north and east, actually. There's a lot of undeveloped woods back in that part of the country. But, yeah, he was running along last night. These people were kind of laughing and making noise. And, AJ, I felt sorry for him. I thought, he's scared to death. Poor little fella, he's lost.
Mm-hmm. He's just trying to find his way, and people there like trying to freak him out.
Y'all calm down. Leave Hank alone. I just think for his sake, I wish some wildlife officials could redirect him or trank him and relocate him and just get him to a safer place. I think the public is in a lot less danger than this bear is. So, but there was another sighting last night just when you thought he was gone. So he keeps just hanging around that area, but it looks like now he's over. I think he got over into the Forest Parks area, which is just over the mountain from there. So we got those stories. And then the other story that's got a lot of fascination here locally is the Birmingham Stallions have, they have the league. I can't remember what's the league called, AJ? The United States Football League or
something like that.
That
USFL.
one went out of business. No, USFL went out of business. Anyway, everything that comes here, we can't get a football team. AJ, you don't even remember.
Still dogs.
Man, we have had so many attempts at it. And I think the fan base there seemed to be enthusiasm. The Stallions were winning championships, had a pretty good 3 years. A couple of our listeners, huge fans. What's their saying? Giddy up?
Giddy up.
I guess they did. They gone. The league also announced they were pulling their team out of Houston, and it's a league realignment. They're going to announce an expansion, actually, to some new cities, and then they're going to pull out of Birmingham and Houston. I guess it's dollars and cents. So I know that's a disappointment to the BJCC because they've really done a good job with that stadium and done a lot of work to keep activity there. And the only thing I've been there for, to be real with y'all, is I've been to the Monster Jam truck thing with my grandson, and last time we took his little cousin and had a big old time. It's just the most fun, stupid thing you'll ever go to, but that's the only time I've ever been there. I never got to go to a Stallions game, or I really wasn't inclined to. I'm just not into football that time of year, but I was hoping they would do well. And people remember all the way back to, we've had some big, high-profile attempts here in Birmingham to get football. I just don't think we're big enough, and we're so obsessed with college football here in the South, in particular, in a city like Birmingham, that it's just too much competition. The old saying was always that Bear Bryant was the biggest, I guess, not catalyst. What's the word I'm looking for? Obstacle, I guess, to any kind of development of professional football because he did not want competition for the Alabama football program. And I guess subsequently, Auburn would somewhat be in that mix. They're not in Birmingham proper, and it wasn't as big a thing. He didn't want the money and the attention and the interest going over to a pro team. And if you notice, a lot of the bigger cities in our country that have big-time pro sports franchises, they're not as into the college. There is a little bit of competition, especially when the two seasons are side by side. They're going on primarily at the same time, except for this football league, which was a little bit off from, of course, the normal fall football schedule. But the Stallions are gone. I don't know what that means for the coach. Remember, A.J. McCarron was talking about running for lieutenant governor at one point. I think he was
the coach.
He was officially in the race, and he left politics to go into coaching, which is probably better fit than him than politics, because I've heard him speak publicly. And then we wound up with a butterfly farmer. John Wall is going to be the Republican nominee. It's just funny. It's funny how everything shook out this year. Stallions are gone, AJ.
They went on and giddy on up out of the city.
I'm not celebrating it. I would like to see. What I do know functionally is for Protective to be maintained and continue to be a presence down there. They've got to constantly keep having activities. You got to use it. You got to use it or lose it, I guess, down the road. So, but I don't know. Somebody online, I saw some comments about it. They said, no sports team would ever fit here. And I got thinking about it. I just don't know what sport would be good for Birmingham. People talk about basketball. I don't think so.
Well, you talk about basketball. Well, the D League or the G League for the NBA, they're moving back to New Orleans, well, Metairie.
They were here for a little bit, right?
They were here in Birmingham.
Yeah.
The only two teams that I know that are having some success is the soccer team and obviously the Barons.
Yeah, I wanted to, incidentally, being at a viewing party for the Birmingham Legion, which their training camp is just right down the road from me. So, but people at Valley Post, before they closed it down, we walked up one night. They got this big outdoor big screen, and there were all these people out there dressed in Birmingham Legion clothes. And so they had a pretty raucous crowd to follow them. I just don't think that these major leagues. It's never just been a good fit to be able to sustain it anyway.
Well, also too, it's just it goes with marketing and branding. Barons do a really good job of branding and marketing and always keeping the appeal going.
They keep it entertaining downtown for sure. If you ever go to a Barons game, you don't even have to know if they're winning or losing. The atmosphere and just being there with your group or your kids is always a good time.
Yeah, and then when the games are and stuff like that. I honestly, when it came to I forgot what it was, the Squadron. I didn't know what time they played. I didn't know anything about when they played or, the schedule or anything like that. I didn't know anything about it.
It's a hard sell in a city, again, that we're college football obsessed, and now you're trying to shove new football, and we don't understand the whole dynamic. It's kind of like following World Cup. You get educated on it while you're doing it, then you forget about it.
Yeah.
So should we go for Major League Soccer? Should we do lesbian basketball?
That might sell. Because
they're on the rise. Have you heard all the
lesbian slap boxing basketball?
Have you seen all the stuff about the WNBA today? I don't mean to turn this into jocks. By the way, our sister station down the road, I don't know if Ryan's listening, but they've been nominated for a Marconi Award, which is the best sports station in the country. And we're real proud of them down the hall. They've been getting after it down there, and Ryan's a great guy and runs a tight ship over there. And so good on them. I meant to congratulate them on that yesterday. I heard about it yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So back to the WNBA. Today they've got a sports betting scandal. And you cannot – it's almost – I'm not a fan of them. I've never in my life watched one live second of a WNBA game. I've never even seen them on my TV screen. But you can't avoid it because everybody's shoving politics into the league and then the league allowing some stupidity. But this may be one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. I think it's mainly that it's a amateurish league trying to piggyback off men's basketball, and now they've created higher viewership and attendance based on this Caitlin Clark and the personalities they're developing. They're doing this Batman Joker thing with rival players, and that always makes people pay attention. I think a lot of it's just phony and scripted. But the arch nemesis of this Caitlin Clark, apparently, according to all these people that watch the WNBA, is this Angel Reese, who just got caught on camera. Listen to the whole punchline here. She's making a bet with a fellow player on the outcome of a game. I think it was the All-Star game. They just had that. I don't have all the details in front of me. But here's the fun part. The league, not the dumb players, but the league posted the video of them bragging about making a $400 sports bet on their own game. Remember how Pete Rose got thrown out of baseball for betting on other games? And so the league put this up themselves. It's against league rules. It's against anything in major professional sports. And, I mean, $400, that's a whole week's pay for an NBA player, WNBA player. I mean, that's a lot of money. So, sarcasm. So they made the bet. Then the league realized that was a huge screw up. And so they pulled the video down, and then that made it worse. So the internet's taken off with it, and now they're looking back to see if any of these players are rigging games, which we've seen in other sports. Sports is just as corrupt. It's getting as corrupt as politics. Almost every major sport's dealing with something right now. From, they're investigating referees. They're investigating the players. We got the mob involved in some stuff recently. So here are these WNBA players mouthing off about taking and placing bets on games they're involved in, and then the league's blowing it off like it was just a friendly PR stunt. It wasn't really that serious. So can the Pete Rose people come back and make that claim? Maybe. I don't know. It'd be fun to watch it play out, this drama. When does that stuff end? Hasn't the men's basketball already? Hadn't they already?
Yeah, the men's basketball is done.
When did WNBA plays? I guess later in the year. They're not at the same time.
No, they don't play in the year. I was looking at the story. Yeah, it was during the. I don't know. I mean, I guess everything could be a controversy, but I mean, it was
of course.
It was during the All-Star game, I guess, but
which was what, last week, I guess.
I don't know. That's the problem.
It's all over. I don't even care about this. I'm trying to see are we in a war with Iran or not?
I don't know.
I'm keeping up with heavy stuff, and every time I pull my news feed open, these women basketball players pop up in all the stories like that. There's an obsession with it. And then the other controversy is, so this Sophie Cunningham supported girls as opposed to transgender people being in girls' sports. A couple little teenage girls showed up at a Seattle game, whoever the Seattle team is for the WNBA. And one of the owners, there's a group that owns that Seattle team. By the way, that group of women, I saw a picture of them holding up a trophy. It looks like a lesbian competitive eating team. I'm just saying. I think that's where they got the idea to buy a basketball team. It's like, hey, we've won all the eating trophies. Let's buy a basketball team and put some more lesbians to work. So this one mean old lesbian just chewed out these little teenage girls for holding up a pro Sophie Cunningham. Oh, man, I'm just confused. So now there's a huge bitch off going on with the WNBA. And I'll go ahead and admit it's more fun than talking about Fauci right now because, as Andrew said when he was leaving the studio a little while ago, Andrew said, I'm about Fauci'd out. It's like we've had too much Fauci the last 2 days, but there may be some other stuff on that too. So a weird little start to the show with all those sports stories being in the news, but that's what we're dealing with right now. Did I see Boomer trying to call in? Boomer's the biggest Stallions fan that ever lived.
Yeah, he was talking about people who are season ticket holders for the Birmingham Stallion. I guess you can wait for a refund.
Yeah, I need him to get on the air with us, Boomer, if you find out what happened.
Yeah,
Boomer was just I don't know if he was self-appointed or if he got involved over there.
I don't know, but he was passionate about it.
He was. He'd call up here and let us know when the games were, and sometimes they'd give us tickets to give away up here at the station, and everything seemed to be going well. I'm in kind of a surprise move today. And look, let's be real. Everybody in Birmingham wasn't going to the Stallions games, which is probably the point. But it's a punch in the gut when Birmingham keeps having something to build around and it's just gone.
True, and I think too is that I think there was a lot of other things that kind of played factors in it. They try to do it where they played all the games here. Then they moved the headquarters from Birmingham to was it Dallas or Texas?
No idea.
And then you talk about traveling and the expenses of doing the travel. I think that The Rock had something to do and involved with all of this.
Isn't he a part owner or one of the teams?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, he's like the owner of the league.
And it could be stadium deals. I mean, I don't know. Somebody on the BJCC side would know this more. It could be sometimes these teams get cocky and decide they want to pay less rent or they want some more benefits. We're seeing that in professional sports everywhere. And they just up and leave. We're just seeing that now from the Chicago Bears, just up and leaving and going to Indiana. So, it's an ongoing thing in sports. And we don't know. They didn't give anything specific. They didn't say it was attendance. They didn't say it was revenue, fan support, or anything. They just said they were reimagining and realigning their league. So there's that today as we start at home. I'll tell you what. Let's do a quick break. I see Boomer over there. Boomer, we'll get you on. But I'm a little late on the break. So let's get the break in here. We'll come back, talk to Boomer, and see what else is going on today. Leland Live. Y'all stay tuned. All right, 225. Let's get Boomer in here. The biggest Stallions fan on the planet. Boomer, is it a sad day for you? Tell me what you're thinking, man.
I've been crying all day, dude. No, I'm just kidding.
Yep.
I can't get the giddy up no more though.
Yeah, that's true.
I guess buck 'em. But anyhow,
wait a minute. Is that another saying? If they want to leave, buck them.
yeah, buck 'em.
I'm a 15-year-old right now.
But anyhow, the way I look at it is, you know how corporations buy out corporations?
I sure do.
Or sometimes corporations will merge with corporations that are making more money.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the XFL was losing money and the USFL was making money. And there were only two teams left from the USFL in this last season. Guess which two teams those were?
Mm-hmm. Birmingham and Houston?
Absolutely.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So after Rapoli came in there, I mean, he's a billionaire. He knows how to handle money. But over the last 2 years, they've just pretty much phased out the USFL out of existence and created their own new league. There's still some XFL teams still on the
what
the
could
docket
what could
to
Birmingham
play.
have done to do any better? I think the team support was there. It seemed like they had a decent crowds, and I mean it wasn't enough to fill that stadium up, but they've had some pretty good games where I
Yeah,
saw people
yeah,
in the stands.
they did everything that they could think of. I mean, by bringing AJ McCarron in, just on name alone, you'd think he'd have a bunch of Alabama fans jump on board. Plus, we had Alabama and Auburn players on the team too.
Yeah, that's true. You had some
It
local
just
support.
we did everything we could do, as far as um, trying to gain new fans. It just
What was your take on
Alabama's
the
just a
what was your
college
take on
team.
the team? I don't know how far in advance you buy season tickets, but what happens to people who've got an investment that don't get to see the games now?
I looked into that today, and of course, I was ahead of it before the announcement was out. So
Mm-hmm.
I had to wait until the announcement was out before I got word that any fans that have paid for the 2027 season as a season ticket member, they should be getting a refund within the next 10 to 14 days. If not, you can reach out to the UFL, and you can get that phone number
Yeah.
off of Google or Grok or whatever.
Well, that's
But
fair. That's fair.
But yeah, everybody will be refunded. But as far as losing the Stallions, I think it all came down to aesthetics, along with the company. Companies merging and depleting everything that they can get out of the other one. But aesthetics, they want small stadiums with packed groups so that the fan base isn't so spread out.
Mm-hmm.
They
Well,
want to be they want to see TV, but then they can't say that because we were the ones that brought in the most viewership. So I don't know what got up Rapoli's butt, but it wasn't the Stallions
that's
on
a good
his
way to put
plan.
it. Then I guess again the team was winning and the town seemed to like them, but the bigger picture is the bigger picture, and hey, that happens in our business too.
Yeah, I
Boomer,
hate it for them.
we appreciate you,
Love
buddy.
y'all.
Thank you, man.
God bless.
You too, my friend. Don't be a stranger. There's Boomer. Boomer used to he was just enthusiastic. I'd forget the Stallions were even over there, and he'd call in and remind me, and I would, oh yeah, that sounds fun. All right, bottom of the hour. Let's kind of get everything reset, and we'll start in on some heavy stuff. I've got to talk about this illegal immigration invasion in Spain today. It is breathtaking. The video, I've been watching it all day, of a straight up invasion of a country from another part of the world. They're being bum rushed, and it's a stark reminder of what we could be dealing with right now. I'll talk to you all about that on the other side. Leland Live, Talk 99.5. Stay tuned. Y'all, it is 2:35. Leland and I have Axiom Tax Resolution Group. That's our friend Perry Cronin, ready to get you unwound if the IRS is breathing down your neck or getting up the other end. They'll do it. They're a powerful collection agency. Some say they're the world's most powerful collection agency because they've got all the tools of the federal government, not only their own powers. You know, the IRS has armed agents. They have police. They've got an incredible ability to freeze your life. And, you know, when they start writing their threat letters, and some of you have received some of these, they'll tell you they're going to sick other branches of government on you. They'll say, you're not going to get another federally backed loan, and we're going to freeze your college this and that, and we're going to spay your dog. I don't know. They'll just threaten you with everything. So here's what you do. You reach out to Perry Cronin. He is professional at this. The minute they recognize that you have professional representation, the jive stops, because their advantage is most people don't know the law, don't know their rights. They're confused and overwhelmed and intimidated. The collection agent's just trying to get their money. So when Perry gets involved, he does understand these on your behalf, what programs are available that you might qualify for to help you settle for less, which could be up to 80% off what you owe. And then, of course, he knows the rights you have to keep them from doing some of these tactics to run over you. But he also knows we got defense and we got offense. On the offensive game, who to talk to, how to approach them, what's reasonable, what they'll generally accept, and help navigate you through that. So, because he just knows their bluff and what's within the law. And it's so good to have this kind of professional representation to get this off your back. The thing is, once you get behind the eight ball with the IRS, while you're sitting to wait to get it settled from, say, last year or 2 years ago, they're coming after you again in April. I mean, it just keeps coming. It's Axiom Tax Resolution Group. Perry Cronin is just a great expert, and I love that he's local, so you can really do a very personalized sit-down meeting with him, not something over the phone with these people from all over the country. Just go hang out with Perry and his team and let them help. It's Axiom Tax Resolution Group, 205tax.com. 205tax.com. This video, by the way, the phone number is 872-1100. This video coming out of Spain is stunning, and it's been going on all day. Let me try to describe what's happening, and then I want to give you some context based on my opinion on the whole situation. So if you know the Iberian Peninsula, I'm going to have to paint a radio map for you because a lot of y'all are doing stuff right now. It's this sort of landmass that extends down from France, and goes out into sort of into the Mediterranean, and the Strait of Gibraltar is right there. So the continent of Africa comes right up to Spain, which is their whole history of all these. For a while, the Muslims completely took over Spain. It took up for hundreds of years, and it took 400 years to kick them out. So there's a huge sort of historical artifacts and other culture that was left behind. Spain's very unique in terms of the rest of Europe. And, of course, Portugal shares that peninsula with them. And then the strait is this little tiny strait. And then you got Morocco, which is the northernmost African country that's almost connected to Spain. Is everybody picturing it? So there's kind of this little border with Morocco. Now, what started happening today, almost at daybreak, some people believe it was before the sun came up, the estimates are as high as, and I have no way to verify this, the estimates are as high as 80,000 healthy men. You can tell they're healthy because they're jumping walls and running across things, and some can actually swim, from northern Africa and other parts of Africa, invaded Spain all at once. Now, Spain's asked for this. They've got a left-wing leader who's thrown the doors open. It's very similar to the Joe Biden situation. And so now they're thinking about calling the military out. They're jumping walls, climbing walls, running through the streets. We've already had home invasions being reported. The city that's gotten overrun is a city called Ceuta. It's a little town, actually. So most of this video, if you turn your TV on, you'll see it, is coming out of Ceuta. 80,000 people all at once. That's not immigration. That is not immigration. Let me repeat that. Most of you know it. I'm just going to double down on what you know. That's not immigration. No country, Spain, the United States, France, Rome, Italy, all these Mediterranean countries, No country can handle that. And it's not immigration is you ask for permission to come into a country because you want to go live there or go work there. And they give you permission and you cross the border and they check your documents and they want to know where you're going, what your resources are. Do you have family? Do you have a job? What are you going to be doing? And that's how most civilized countries did it for hundreds of years. In the United States, we called it Ellis Island. There's a organization to it and an assimilation to it and a flow to it that's manageable by the host country. When it's done that way, it's wonderful. I mean, new cultures come in and bring new life, new experiences. They're vetted by who can contribute and who can't. If you can't, you don't get to come in. That is our national law that goes back here in the United States to the earliest years of our country. There was a time we were flooding the country because we were trying to populate the West. So everybody was invited to, if you would come help work on the railroads or if you wanted to go west and prospect. But then that got to be too much, and the United States shut the whole thing down. Right around the turn of the century, under Teddy Roosevelt, they're like, no more, we can't handle it. It's too much. It's crashing our system. So let's work with that concept, crashing our system. And let's talk about Spain. It's connected to us. And I've got some numbers for you that I crunched myself just a second ago. So Spain is getting bum rushed, and this is you just need to know, this is 100% organized. This is not organic. 80,000 dudes, mostly look like they're in their 20s. There's not a woman in the group. There's not a kid. If there's a refugee crisis, you see families dragging their luggage, some little kids clinging to a stuffed animal, mom and dad, they're moving in groups, herding together. We've seen humans have to do this all over the world through human history, where they've just got a caravan to get away from danger, to flee war or some dictator or communism. We've seen it over and over. This is not that. This looks like an army of people that just busted loose and was sent in to attack the country. They're not carrying weapons, but they might as well be. Some of their weapons are their penises. They're coming in to invade Spain the same way they have invaded France. They've attempted Italy. They've moved all through Europe, and they came here. It's being organized by the same people with the same goals to crash Western civilization. That's not a conspiracy theory. That's an actual conspiracy. We know the players. We know their statements. We know their tactics. They've studied history just like we did. For the same reason, Teddy Roosevelt said we can't handle anymore because it was too much for a country to absorb and maintain your standards of living, to maintain everything that is your country, your language, your culture, your heritage. You got to do, when people groups come together, you got to let it seep. You got to steep it a little bit. You got to let it flow in naturally until these people all learn to get along, and then you can let some more people in. This is upheaval. And I would suspect, based on pure stereotype, these are all Muslims invading Spain again hundreds of years later after they had to be kicked out. All hell's going to break loose in Spain. 80,000 people is the estimate I'm getting. Again, I didn't count heads. I was not standing there with the clicker going, check, 1, 2. Now let's do some math. Y'all ready to do some math with me? Because I really believe this. And I'm going to talk to the MAGA base right now because I'm a little put out with all the hand wringing. I ain't even talking to Democrats. They've gone nuts, man. They've gone straight commie. Let me talk to not even Republicans. They're a bunch of cheese-eating country club people. I'm talking to the MAGA base. We have taken for granted the change on this issue alone since Trump took office. Because I'll get calls once a week where people aren't satisfied with the deportations or they feel like he's not fulfilling that, ignoring the headwinds that he faced with all the court cases, the government shutdowns. As I sit here and speak, the Democrats are engineering another shutdown for late September. Right before the election, they're going to try to shut the government down again as a stunt. They think it'll help them. These people will hold you hostage, as we've now learned from all the COVID documents this week. They don't care what happens in your life. If they can get their way, they'll flex any power they have, and that's all they've got is to get in the way. So they're trying another shutdown. Back to the immigration story. I did the math a little while ago, and here's the math I came up with. I just want y'all to know this. These images are hauntingly familiar to the Biden days when Biden threw the gates open, and we had that one period of about 2 weeks where all these Haitians suddenly showed up in Texas. How in the hell did a bunch of broke ass Haitians who can't swim or afford it wind up in Texas to walk across the border down at Eagle Pass? Do y'all remember all this? And then there was all these made up stories that they were being abused. They were not being abused. They were being abused by the people that sent them there because it was boiling hot sun. They had no resources. They were all standing around under a bridge. There was news coverage. Then suddenly there wasn't. The networks wanted nothing to do with it. Fox News, to their credit, and I'm a critic of theirs too, but they were there. They had Bill Malugin and others down there with drones showing this massive humanity standing around fighting for shade, not knowing where to go, that were sort of forced toward that border point to cross in mass like this to overwhelm the system. We had another image during the Biden years of, remember when those National Guardsmen had put up a temporary fence and the fence got pushed over and they came in, just barged in on those Texas National Guard guys, started fighting with them, or that might have been Arizona. I'll never forget that image. They were being invaded. The military is being confronted, unarmed again, but by this massive humanity where there's no way to win. You're not going to shoot them. It's hard to stop them. Here they come. It's by design. Just know that. This is not organic. These people didn't all – you don't have 80,000 men get together somewhere in the continent of Africa and go, let's all on this day go to Spain. That did not happen. This was created. Now, here's the point. Trump's been in office 556 days as of today. The border crossings during Biden, at one point, they were averaging close to 5,000 people a day were crossing that border. I know that wasn't sustained. There were probably periods where it waned, periods where there was more than that, but that was an average that was given before Trump became president. So let's just don't even take that number. Let's just say 3,000 a day. From the time Trump took office, if that man had not become president, if the bullet had hit him in the head in Butler, Pennsylvania, if the country had not descended into civil war at that moment, which I think we would have, and somehow Word Salad Lady winds up being our president, I can't remember, had they put her up by then or was Biden still around? The crossings would have continued. There's zero doubt. They probably would have gotten worse. But I'm going to take the low-end number. 556 days later, these images that we're seeing in Spain would have been repeated here en masse, a bum rush to the system. And if you only had an average of 3,000 crossings a day in the last 556 days, that's 1.6 million people. That's more than in the entire Birmingham metro. That's almost half of the population of the state of Alabama and greater than the population of a lot of states in this country, including some that I just went to out west, Wyoming, for example. I think Wyoming's only got 500,000 or 600,000 people in it. I mean, that's doubled the state of Wyoming, triple almost. That would have happened. There's zero doubt about it. They wouldn't have stopped a single one of them. That's the low estimate. If you want to take that to 5,000 a day, let's just say they had managed to ramp it up a little bit, because, you know, Kamala would have been all about it. She'd have been over there cackling and supporting it, and they would have just been bum rushing. That was 2.78 million people would be in this country. Now, we're not even netting out the deportations, both forced and self-deportations. And I can't find an up-to-date number on that, but we know since the government went back to business and Homeland Security has been refunded, suddenly we know there are more of those. Those flights are going out every day. I've seen some estimates of 10,000 a day. I don't know what the actual number is. A few months ago, they had the number at about 1.4 that had been deported, and I don't know if they added self-deportations, but just to play with the ballpark on this for a second, that's a difference of 3 million people. And I'll acknowledge, some of those people may have been the finest folks that ever walked on earth, and you'd want them for your neighbor, but they didn't ask for permission. They're rushing in here as tools of a greater effort to trash this country and water it down and water its values and pull it apart. This is a war. We're in a war. We're in a humanitarian war with these people that are organizing this stuff. And there would be a difference, minimally, right now, based on my math, of at least 3 million people in the last 556 days that would be here and doing the things that we've seen do, driving trucks and running over people with 18-wheelers, stabbings and rapes and murders and all the mayhem that's also part of any humanitarian wave of people. If you have 80,000 males, go watch the video. Find a woman. If you have 80,000 males from any country barge into another country, there's going to be consequences. Now, I don't have a lot of sympathy for Spain. Spain is a jerk for a leader. I just got to visit there last year. It's a beautiful country, incredible country, but they're going to have to deal with this. And right now, as of this afternoon, because it's so overwhelming, they've had to call the military out to try to get it under control. And the thing is, because they've got a Biden-like character, except he is lucid, and I think he's actually in charge of his job. He probably won't deport them. They'll just make them comfortable. He'll probably give them a free cell phone and a job like the American officials were doing here. My bottom line point back to the MAGA folks, you should appreciate that 556 days later, we're not dealing with that scene again. That's not happening. There have been 0 catch and release crossings since Trump became president. Not that somebody hadn't snuck in, clearly the cartels have their way. We just still had drug boats, fentanyl, humans, sex trafficking, lost kids, and all the chaos that comes with a surge like this. And the chaos is the point. It's not people being free and getting new opportunity. It's agents of chaos. Why? How do we know this? Because they're sending the men. If these were sweet little old ladies coming across from Morocco with little canes and little Walmart scooters, just trying to yearn to be breathe freely in España, if that was the scene today, I think the whole world would be sympathetic. These look like a little military army running through the streets of this little town. And again, we've already got reports of crimes, home invasions, people being held at knife point. They're barging in there, stealing stuff because they got no resources. But who in the hell organized this? The world needs to confront that. Meantime, I got the popcorn because my president ain't letting it happen. But here's a final point, and we'll go to the break. We are just months away from it happening again here. The same forces that have engineered this thing today in Spain will do it again here the minute there's not a president that will stand up to them. And we are a whisker away from losing all that. Because I don't even think there's a single Republican that will be as tough on this issue as we have seen in the last 556 days. So enjoy it while you can, because this business model is the new business model. Western Europe must be destroyed. Its identity, its history, its statues, its values, its civility, its commerce, its capitalism, all of that is under attack, and we're part of that story. Watch those videos today and remind yourself how bad it was just a few months ago. We get spoiled in this country. Back in a minute. I always have to wait till they get me part. That's my favorite thing. Get me. Storm restoration roofing, man. I'm watching the framing go up on my project, and I can't wait for Greg to get out there and get that roof slapped on there and get everything dried in so we can step on the gas with it. I just know Greg is going to do the best job because he's that good. He's a good guy. When you meet him, you'll know. He's experienced, almost 30 years in the business, knows everything about the products, the latest technology. And then there's the personal relationship stuff. He knows all the insurance companies. If it's an insurance claim, he knows what companies will accept, what they want, how you have to step up to prove your claim, and he'll help you document that. He'll get the ladder, take the photos, make the case, document the date, time, when, and where, and all those things. If you don't do it right, you get sideways with your insurance company. A couple things can happen. One, they could just turn down your claim. Two, they could drop your policy if they think you're trying to pull one over on them to get a free roof. We have companies that'll troll around trying to get you to do that. And, here's how let me just be negative for a second. These guys will talk you into filing your claim. If it comes through, they hit jackpot and they get the job, and you don't even know if they know what they're doing. If they don't, you'll never see them again anywhere. They're gone. So they don't care if you get your policy dropped or they've advised you to put a new roof on and you shouldn't. Greg's going to tell you the truth. He's one of us. He lives here locally, and his team is just incredible. He's got most of his family working with him. His daughters are helping you with the adjusters. If it is not an insurance claim, it's just a big replacement because it's time. Just know that he's got finance companies that can help with that, the out-of-pocket costs, whether it's your deductible or the whole project. He's got all that lined up for you, too. Just a great guy to get to know. He runs on a phone number, so I'm about to give it to you, and I want you to jot it down, even if you don't have your mind on your roof and your roof on your mind right now, because nothing's going on with it. Suddenly that could happen. We've even got stormy weather coming up on Saturday. Here's that number, 205-542-3531, 205-542-3531, Storm Restoration Roofing. Here's another international story. Let me get to it real quick since we have a short segment before the top. Apparently there are some massive blackouts of electricity going on in Puerto Rico right now. Puerto Rico constantly has these infrastructure problems. And today, the weird thing about this one was both of their major generating plants went down at the same time. Now, we don't know why yet, and right now there's no information that it was terrorism or intentional. It's probably just aging and mismanaged infrastructure. If you followed anything about that island, not only do they get hit with hurricanes, and they have a lot of natural challenges being in that part of the world, they've got crumbling infrastructure, and they just had huge political scandals about not distributing. The United States would send aid down there after a hurricane and send help to fix the infrastructure back after a hurricane, and then somehow it gets squandered. I mean, it gets redistributed to places that don't matter, crooked politicians lining their pockets, so much corruption on that island. But now that corruption and arrogance tends to go with incompetence, and it seems to be the storytelling for why they can't keep the electricity on. This is not even a communist country like Cuba. Cuba I can understand, but Puerto Rico dealing with it today, and probably not the best time to not have electricity in the midst of summertime in Puerto Rico. So prayers up for those people. Maybe they'll get it together and get the power back on. All right, top of the hour, 545-9950. If you want to get in on the show about any of these things or something fresh, we're wide open to the breaking news. I've got so much to get into next hour, too, so we'll get into some of that. Breaking headlines and your phone calls, 545-9950. This is Leland Live, Talk 99.5. Back here in a minute.